Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media and Sports Journalist, coming at you with another team preview today. We're going to try our best this offseason. I would love to get every Power Four team. If you ever want to help preview a team too, just let me know on Twitter. You can message me or you can email me at ballardchristian01@gmail.com. Why not the Ballard Sports 19 email? I don't know. I keep trying to clear out my email because I had a bunch of spam and all this crap, and I'm not really getting emails there, so I don't know what's going on with that. So, but anyway, hope everyone's having a great week so far. It is Wednesday as I record this on March 26th, almost the end of March, almost in April, and really looking forward to just getting more of these out, talking up some SEC, some Power Four, whatever. Speaking of the SEC, let's talk Texas A&M. I thought they had an interesting year last year. This is coming up on year 3 or year 2 of Mike Elko. Jimbo's only been out of Texas A&M for a couple years now, not too much or too long, I should say. But I think Elko's doing a pretty solid job. I think last year was pretty good. 5-3 in conference play. Did lose the last 3 games, but a tough stretch um, to end the season. 8-5 overall. When you look at it, they went 8-4 in the regular season, and the 3 games that they lost, all pretty close too. 4 overtimes with Auburn, 17-7 against Texas, who was a playoff team, and that USC in the Las Vegas Bowl, 35-31. What was their worst loss? They did lose to Notre Dame week 1. Notre Dame, as we know, lost to Northern Illinois and everything, but they made the national title. So I don't consider that a bad loss. 23-13, 10 points. Not bad. South Carolina lost by 24. South Carolina was interesting last year. A lot of primetime games too for Texas A&M. When you look back at the time slots too, 7:30, 7:30, 7:45, 7:30, 7:30. That's like 5 straight games prime time. Gosh, we got to fix that. Um, Not that they don't deserve primetime spots. I'm just saying, why is a certain SEC team getting uh, prime time every single week? Anyway, they did beat teams like LSU and Missouri, who were good teams last year. They beat Florida, who didn't. Even though Florida, I thought, had a better second half of the season than they did the first. Arkansas was close. Bowling Green was close. Had a couple scares out there. Could have lost to Arkansas. I guess you could have lost to Florida. You could have lost to Bowling Green. You only beat them by 6. It was kind of a roller coaster when you look at Texas A&M. It's like they started out pretty good, then they had a couple hiccups. Then the season goes on, they start to pick up some losses like Auburn and Texas. Um, I don't know. I don't know how you would define last year. Was it terrible? No. Was it great? I don't think it was great, but I think it was good enough. But you got to do better than good enough in football. You just have to. I like some of the guys that got coming in this next year. Some of the guys coming back. Scooby Williams at linebacker. Isaiah Williams is a freshman wide receiver. Bryce Anderson, probably going to be one of the key guys. Des Ricks comes from Alabama. He transfers in. Um, so he's a defensive back. There's a lot of different ways they could go here. When you look at these positions, Casey Conception. I don't even know how you say that. He's a junior, number 7 wide receiver. We'll call him KC. He comes over from NC State. Wesley Watson comes in. He's from College Station, Texas. went to high school and everything there, but he transfers from Kansas State. He's a freshman, redshirt. So Kelshawn Johnson comes in the class. He's recruited. Ruben Owens is a sophomore running back. Le'Veon Moss comes back for his senior year. He was hyped up. I believe a former five-star recruit. Jacob Zeno comes from UAB. He was okay over there. He transfers in to give Marcel Reed some backup help and some competition there at quarterback. Brady Hurt, Eli Morcos. I could go down the list of this whole roster. I mentioned Brady Hart and Eli Morcos also at the quarterback position. I don't really see them getting much time. I think it's going to come down to Marcel Reed being the starter and Jacob Zeno, who will be wearing number 9 at this point. He will most likely back up Marcel Reed, is what I would predict for the Aggies. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on some of these players, and let's get into the schedule here for Texas A&M. So, uh, put last year behind, look to this year. They play teams like UTSA and Utah State in the non-con. Then they have, which is a home and home, so they have to go to South Bend to play Notre Dame on September 13th. They get a bye week after that to prepare for SEC play with Auburn at home, Mississippi State, Florida, at Arkansas, at LSU. I would say this is overall pretty favorable. At Missouri could be tough there. South Carolina, I don't care where you play that. South Carolina is going to be a top 25 team next year. I do think Texas A&M can be as well. Samford and at Texas. Some of these you could go ahead and handpick some losses, and I do want to continue giving at most record predictions for Texas A&M. I do look at this season. Um, I do look. I gotta plug my computer in real quick, but I do look at this season for Texas A&M, and I say that is it make or break? The whole world was kind of watching last year for Mike Elko to do something amazing. And I'm not going to sit here and say it was a bad year. It wasn't great, but it was good enough, like I said. 8-4 last season, plus the bowl loss. I think they want to try to win a bowl game this year, but I also I could see them it it would surprise me if they made the college football playoff. But what's not surprising is if people get on the hype train of putting them as a contender for the playoff next year. I could get that. I think they're one of those long shots for the college football playoff next year. Um, they could be one of the best 12. I think they are in competition for the SEC and for the SEC championship, but obviously, when you look at this schedule here, they're going to have some roadblocks that are going to slip them up a little bit. Like Auburn, if they're better, you could lose that. Mississippi State shouldn't be a threat. Florida, you wouldn't think they'd be much of a threat, but a lot of people are expecting them to take steps forward this next season. Arkansas should not be much of a threat to Texas A&M, but they'll still be an average SEC team. LSU going to be tough, especially playing in Baton Rouge on October 25th. You get a bye week at Missouri. Missouri, at least this past year, was really, really good, and we love Elijah Drinkwitz. Um, South Carolina, we'll see. These are the mystery teams. See, I think Missouri and South Carolina could either have a step back or a step forward, but we don't know. Samford should be no problem. That's just a university here in Birmingham, Alabama. Um, from what I hear, a really good university. I've been to their campus for a concert before. It's really nice. But it shouldn't. The football team should not pose a threat to Texas A&M. I don't think. And then at Texas, the fact that it's at Texas, I could go ahead and tell you right now that's probably going to be a loss to Sarkeesian. I like that this rivalry's back. I like that it's been renewed. I like that it's going to be annual. But Texas A&M, in my opinion, is a couple years away from trying to compete with Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns. That's just how I view it. I could be wrong, but you know, it's who would you bet on the next 5 years to win this series more so? Who would you bet on in recruiting or to win a national championship? Really, let's talk that. Like Texas or Texas A&M, who's getting their first national championship? Mike Elko or Sarkisian? 9 times out of 10, you think it'd be Sarkisian. It probably should be 10 out of 10 times. But anyway, that's a whole nother video right there if we wanted to. But they should win those first 2 games. They're probably gonna drop Notre Dame, but I could see a scenario where they do get Notre Dame. They lost only by 10 at home last year, and again, Notre Dame does lose some key pieces to the draft. They are coming off a title run. Marcus Freeman is proving to be a good head coach for the Irish. Just kind of how I view it. I'll go ahead and give a record prediction here. We'll talk a little bit about it. I got to hear from you guys in the comments too. 8-4, I think, is probably their ceiling. Um, well, it might not be the ceiling. That's just kind of how I feel right now. Is that they would go 8-4. Notre Dame is a loss on the road. They could beat Auburn at home, Mississippi State, Florida. They could win those 3 games at Arkansas, at LSU. Arkansas, yes. LSU on the road. That's a good rivalry game. Probably not middle of the season. Do I think Texas A&M wins that? It could be proven wrong. Off week, Missouri, other losses. I make a bold claim here. South Carolina is going to be a dangerous top 25 team, top 15 team next year. I would bet my money on that. South Carolina is going to be dangerous. They're going to look really, really good. This will be a close game. I'm going to make a bold take and say South Carolina goes to College Station and gets a small upset here over the Aggies. And then it's not really much of a surprise here. I do have them going to Texas with a loss coming up. So at the end of the year on November 29th, you could cross this off the SEC championship. Now, again, they'll be in contention. I just personally don't see it, especially considering that 3 out of the 4 losses that I'm giving them are in conference. That's not going to help you get to Atlanta, Texas A&M. That's just not. Got to hear from you guys in the comments. Again, we'll go Notre Dame, South Carolina, LSU, and Texas for the losses. And we'll go 8-4 for the Aggies of Texas A&M. I do like Mike Elko. I like what he's doing. I just think for the college football playoff and everything, they're probably a couple years down the road for that. Not this year. Maybe we talk about it next year, maybe the year after, something like that. And maybe we see some consistency. I think they're going in the right direction. I'll give them all the credit in the world for that. I just don't think it's this year. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I might be giving them too much credit. I don't want to say hyping them up too much, but I want to say, am I giving them too much credit here with 8-4? Are they looking at 6-6 or 7-5? I think they're obviously above 500. I think that's fair. Well, I got to hear from you guys in the comments. 8-4 is my pick for the Aggies. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. God bless, and good luck to Texas A&M. We'll see you.